As heads of state, in a meeting, we asked M23, the people in there, are they Rwandese or they are Congolese? And DRC said, these are Congolese. End of question. So if these are Congolese, how does it become a Rwanda problem?
I wanted to ask you some questions about the crisis currently in Eastern Congo. And there's a security situation, but the current dispute between Tshisekedi and Kagame could possibly further inflame the region today. How can you solve the problem?
Just so that you know, Kenya participated in the East African force that was in Eastern DRC. We did what I consider a very commendable job. We pacified the area. We got the M23 to move away from the areas that we had agreed. In fact, we were remaining with the cantonment question. And the M23 asked the question, do we go into the camps, surrender our arms before we have a conversation? Or do we have a conversation so that as we go into the camps, we know what the conversation is all about? Can we put our grievances on the table? And it makes sense to all of us. And we asked the government in DRC to consider a conversation, a dialogue with their own citizens so that we can resolve this issue. EAC, we believe that the challenge in Eastern DRC cannot be solved using military force, especially if those in contention are willing to have a conversation. That is why we asked the government of DRC to consider seriously using the instruments that are available in the Nairobi peace process, which is a dialogue process, or in the Rwanda peace process, which is also a dialogue process, or even a combination of both. We still believe that the solution to the challenges of Eastern DRC do not lie in use of military force, but lie in a consultative dialogue process, and the instruments are available. The sooner we access, the sooner we use the instruments of dialogue, consultation that are in place, the sooner we will solve that problem. I had a conversation with the leadership of SADC. As we exited, they came in, and I told them very clearly that we don't think that there is a military solution here. And I think slowly, after several months, they now agree with us that there needs to be a rethink of whether we should be deploying more troops or we should be deploying more people to engage in dialogue, in consultation, in a conversation, because these are citizens who are ready and willing to engage their government. If you ask me, I would go along and say, let us forget about complicating this problem. This is not about Rwanda and DRC. This is not about Kagame and Tshisekedi. This is about citizens and their government. And if we understood it in that context, the sooner we will solve the problem.
So, from what you say, you do agree with Paul Kagame when he says the M23 is a Congolese problem?
It's not Kagame who is saying it. As heads of state, in a meeting, we asked M23, the people in there, are they Rwandese or they are Congolese? And DRC said, these are Congolese. End of question. So if these are Congolese, how does it become a Rwanda problem? How does it become a Kagame problem? I think since it is settled that M23 are Congolese, it is a Congolese problem, and therefore we need a Congolese solution. And in our opinion, listening to all the sides, whether it is using the Rwanda process or the Nairobi peace process. The Nairobi peace process, I can speak authoritatively because I have attended some of the meetings. M23 want to be involved in the dialogue. They are saying, why are you locking us out? We are Congolese. We have issues. We want to talk to our government. I don't find any better outcome than a citizenship that has grievances, that have issues with their government, who are willing to engage their government in a discussion so that they can sort out their grievances. I do that all the time. When the opposition, for example in Kenya, raised issues about an election that I won fair and square, 6 months later, 6 months after the election, they said, we think we won the election. 6 months later. And they caused issues. I told them, okay, let's talk. We sat down, we talked, you know. It didn't take anything away from me. We engaged in a conversation. We settled the issues. We took the matters to Parliament. There is now a process. So there is nothing anybody loses when you engage your citizens in dialogue.